Good morning.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. That's me fading out in tempo.
Nice.
I try to be nice once in a while about those kinds of things. So this morning I was up and came across an interesting LinkedIn post from a woman who I know from that Recognized Experts group. And she didn't exactly give me her permission, but it's on LinkedIn. So I hope that it's all right that I'm just going to read her post. This is from a woman named Julia. And then we'll talk about it because it's a nice follow-up to last week's compliment conversation. There's a lot to be said for seemingly small gestures of kindness and the out-of-proportion impact they can have on the well-being of others. And the unexpected nature of a kind gesture can amplify the impact. In our house, we repeat a phrase my mother-in-law ingrained in my husband at a young age. It's nice to be important. It's more important to be nice. But we can let our own heads get in the way and not do or say the nice thing that we are thinking of doing or saying. Just today, I was picking up a prescription at the pharmacy and the clerk complimented my blouse and then my bag. The comments were free to her, but gave me a spring in my step as I went about the rest of my errands. As the authors of this piece in Harvard Business Review remind us, just as people must eat regularly to satisfy their biological needs, the fundamental need to be seen, recognized, and appreciated by others, as it turns out, is a recurring need at work and in life. Food for thought the next time you're thinking about giving a compliment. Go ahead. What do you have to lose? It's a really lovely little idea. Okay, so then this is the article. A simple compliment can make a big difference. And I'm not going to read you the whole article because it's a 5-minute read. But it's by 3 authors from Harvard Business Review. So you could find it. A simple compliment can make a big difference. So the reason that I thought this was interesting is that it really supports what we talked about last week. The nice part of giving compliments to people, not the part about, be careful about not sexualizing someone or making them feel uncomfortable. But there's some science to this as well, Dr. Mary. Science. So, okay, can I just give some backstory? So I sent
Please
this to...
do.
I'm
Yes.
going to. I sent this to Dr. Mary this morning, and I said, hey, look, science. And so he read the article, and then, of course, he went back to find the actual study done by the neuroscientists, because he thought when I said, hey, look, science, I meant science with a capital S. I never mean science with a capital S. I'm sorry. I feel a little bad that I never mean science with a capital S. I'm talking pure lowercase science. So, I think that distresses you a little bit.
No.
Because I think you think that if I had gone to your non-major science class, you might have swayed me into a biology degree. And I'm here to tell you, Dr. Mary, definitively, almost 20 years into our relationship. No, you know that's not true.
I have swayed others.
You have, but not your spouse.
Okay.
So, what can you talk about from this recap of this study? Do you want this? Is that helpful to you?
I can actually see it from here.
Okay.
Bifocals are awesome. Took me too long to get them.
It
I was
did.
in kind of some weird denial there, but they're awesome.
Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Back to the science at hand.
It's serotonin. It's, some people call it the feel-good factor. It's a neurotransmitter. It's increased in your brain when you feel happy. People who have depression have too little serotonin. People who are suffering from addiction make too much of it, and it swamps other biochemical feedback receptors in your brain.
That's it.
So when you naturally make serotonin and it's there to make you feel good and then naturally breaks down and stops its signal, everything's hunky-dory. It's a part of addiction is it overstimulates your pleasure center or your ventral tangential region of your brain. But serotonin does gently stimulate that. If someone gives you a compliment that makes you feel good, positive feedback at work, a positive working environment has been shown time and time again to make people just work better because they're happy to be there. So if we can actually give each other...
Dog is on some kind of dry heaving thing behind us. I'm sorry if you're hearing that.
Yeah, she's fine.
It's very unpleasant.
Apparently her esophagus is getting old, as is the rest of us, so it doesn't really...
It's okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Too much science
Too
in
much
that.
science.
Yeah, so it's all to do with serotonin. If you give someone an honest to God, heartfelt compliment, and it's not weird, you will make their day.
Or express gratitude.
Yeah, or express gratitude.
They both do the same thing. But here's what's interesting from the research that they discovered. I'm going to quote this. In 2 independently conducted lines of research, we asked participants to estimate how another person would feel after receiving a compliment. We then asked these same participants to actually compliment another person, and we compared how that person actually felt after receiving the compliment to how participants imagined the person would feel. Using the same experimental paradigm, so important to research, as we all know, those of us who love science, we consistently found that people underestimate how good their compliment would make the recipient feel. So there's this idea that I think we talk a lot about how will it make someone else feel. And we know that receiving a compliment makes you feel good. Just today, out of the blue, one of my all-time most favorite people, Jen Item, who moved from Fargo to Florida, sent me a text today to say she's getting her second COVID jab, if you're in England, dose, if you're in America today, and that she just wanted to write and say how fabulous she hoped everything was at the Arts Partnership. That was lovely. It made my day, both to hear from Jen and just that sweet little quick, seemingly inconsequential gesture of sending me about a 10-word text. But what this research shows is it proves that people enjoy getting compliments and having gratitude expressed to them. But what it also proves is that the giver undervalues how important it can be. So if here's an ongoing story at the Del Val Mary household. Dr. Mary likes to give me a compliment. We'll keep it benign and he'll say to me, you look fabulous today, Dee Dee. And I say, thank you. And then he instantly says, I look pretty good too. He doesn't even wait to see if I might compliment him.
The pause was too long, Mama.
Dr. Mary would like instant feedback. And he would like it to be commensurate to the feedback he's already given
Damn straight.
me.
That works.
So I think that, I mean, that's a goofy little example. But there is real underestimation to how powerful this actually is. And another thing that they discovered that I thought was really interesting is that as givers, we tend to think, well, if I give too many compliments, they will diminish in value and people will receive them in a less important way. So I should withhold my compliments for big moments. And actually, that was debunked. If I give you a compliment every single day, it will matter to you. As long as it's a heartfelt compliment. Or if I express gratitude every single day, I don't need to thank you only periodically for it to matter. I can thank you every single time you do a gesture that is worthy of a thank you, which in my world is anything someone does for me. And it never loses its value.
I want to state this next bit with by saying this is not a canon, for want of a better phrase. It's not. It's a study that's been done. It's been done a couple of times. It's been done on a small number of people.
Oh.
So
Capital S.
By no means or stretch of the imagination will it ever appear in a textbook quite yet. But there have been a couple of studies. There's been one in Australia and one in India, where they have shown that if you give positive feedback and it's true, they did this little study with people and they just complimented them. Their blood chemistry changed, and they think it actually also, if you feel good about yourself, it may be a factor to boosting your immune system.
Oh, I totally believe that.
because it just makes you feel better. And when you feel better, apparently your entire biochemistry is slightly more geared up to doing things.
Well, I think about, when you went into the hospital, I got sick, I don't know, 4 or 5 days in. Now, we could say, well, I got sick because I was spending all my time in a hospital where germs, it doesn't matter how clean a hospital is full of sick people. So maybe I just got sick by proximity. Although you didn't get sick. The nurses that I was around didn't get sick, just I got sick. Could be that I was run down because you woke me up in the middle of the night and we went to the emergency room and my rhythm got disrupted and blah. That's all true. But I would say that I got sick because the stress and the anxiety and the buildup of years of that crashed in on me and my immune system fell apart.
Well, stress makes people sick.
Often.
So your immune system gets suppressed. So I'm not going to say this is by any means definitive, but it does kind of make sense.
Absolutely. I think it makes incredible sense. So I thought this was interesting. Indeed, when asked, nearly 90% of the people who did this research, believe that they should compliment each other more often. And in actuality, only 50% of them practiced it. So I loved this too.
Excuse me.
50% of people in one experiment who wrote down a compliment for a friend actually sent the compliment. Only half the people. And the point is, they'd already done the hard work of coming up with the compliment and writing it, and only half of them sent it. So what that says to me, from my highly scientific conclusion of this highly scientific research, is... I'm such a hard scientist.
Are you padding the job here?
I might be. But what it says is, we think many, many, many more kind things than we actually ever express.
Oh. Yeah.
If only half of us are willing to send a compliment that we've taken the time and bothered to write down, that likely means that that's true for the great majority of us. So I guess the point here, just to confirm last week's conversation, is this notion that if you think something, say it. If you have an addict in your house, and your addict, whatever stage of addiction this person is at, does something well, and I don't mean this condescendingly, I'm not talking, it's not like you don't treat them like 4-year-olds, but if they do something well, if they show up, if they're present, if they are engaged, let them know that that matters. The same way you let your children know, how pleased you are if they think to pick up their toys, or if they do something nice for their sibling, or all those things. Don't just think kind things, say them, because
good call.
it matters.
That's how you train a dog too. It is.
Hey, I know. We are all animals at the end of the day.
Yeah. You can't train a cat though, they just do what they want.
That's probably true.
What was that quote?
I can't remember.
Something like why cats always look pissed at you is because they are nature's ultimate killing machine, but they only weigh 8 pounds, so people keep picking them up and kissing them.
Yeah, it's a great deal. So, I'm going to read you this end paragraph. There is ample evidence that giving someone else a boost, whether giving a compliment or expressing gratitude, has a mood-lifting effect and contributes to well-being. This means that everyone benefits, givers and receivers alike. Creating a positive organizational culture is important, perhaps more now than ever. But we often hold back unnecessarily because we aren't well calibrated to the actual effects our positive messages have on others. Gratitude is not about a one-time holiday party, day off, or spot bonus. It's about creating a culture of gratitude. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Create a culture of gratitude at your home, at your place of work, with your spouse, with your children, and with yourself.
Yeah.
Don't wake up and start with, God, you're a jerk, or boy, how come you ate that thing, or how come you didn't do this, or why did you fall off the track on that? Get up and say something positive to yourself. It will matter.
Very good.
Thank you.
We do a good job of
We
complimenting
do.
ourselves, Yeah.
You're swell.
So are you.
Thank you. Have an excellent day. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.